morning. Welcome into Thursday's episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. February the 27th. We are almost to March. March 1st is Saturday, but the madness starts now, and it started last night. Number 8, Michigan State. Number 16, Maryland, taking on a Big Ten clash here. Trey Holloman, off a missed three from Maryland, dribbles the ball up, pulls from beyond half court to give number 8, Michigan State, a 58-55 win at the buzzer. There's nothing I can say to put into words how incredible this was, how awesome it was, hitting a half-court buzzer beater to beat a great opponent on the road, secure another Quad 1A win. Michigan State now looking like a true 2 seed without a doubt. Heartbreak for Maryland, but Trey Holloman at the buzzer from beyond half court gives Michigan State, the Spartans, the victory, 58-55. Over in the SEC, Kentucky on the road at Oklahoma in our second best game of the night. Kentucky topped the Sooners. A very back-and-forth second half, a very chaotic game. Kentucky winning on the road at Oklahoma in Norman, 83-82. Otega-Owa led all scorers with 28 points for the Wildcats. And over on the Plains, Auburn defeats Ole Miss 106-76. Auburn looking like a machine. And I will be completely honest, I don't want to pick Auburn to win the national title in my bracket. I'm someone who likes to, I play in a lot of bracket groups, a lot of people in them, so I like to be different. I like to try to find a champion that maybe most people wouldn't have picked to give myself a better shot at winning the group. But it is so tough this year just because of how much of a machine the Auburn Tigers are. This squad has 20 Quad 1 and Quad 2 wins. They are 26-2 on the season, and they are on the verge of clinching the SEC regular season title with still another week and a half to go. Incredible to see from Bruce Pearl and company. Vanderbilt on the road at Texas A&M. The Commodores taking down the Aggies in College Station. Tyler Nickel leading the way for Vanderbilt with 21 points. Career best 7 3-pointers. Vandy, they were hot in this one, don't get me wrong, but not a great look for Texas A&M. I mean, a really, really bad look, I should say. Actually, Texas A&M, they've been on the ropes lately. They have been trending in the wrong direction. They've got to find a way to right the ship. This is their third straight loss now, dating back to Tuesday, February 18th. They lost to Mississippi State, then lost at home to Tennessee this past Saturday, and then lost at home last night to Vanderbilt. Texas A&M has got to right the ship quick. So they'll start trending in the wrong direction, and with the field as heavy as it is, as top-heavy as it is, I should say, if you're the Aggies, you're quickly going to start falling down the seed list, and not something you want to do in this type of loaded tournament bracket. A bubble battle between Arkansas and Texas. The Razorbacks winning this one at home in overtime. Trey Johnson for Texas, however, had 39 points. What a talented player he is. Texas had a massive opportunity to win it late. They led with less than a minute to go in regulation. They also led at the start of overtime as well, but they were unable to pull it off. Arkansas wins at home 86-81. St. John's clinching the Big East regular season title, at least a share of it. Their first one in 33 years with a victory over Butler, 76-70. Great to see from Pitino and his crew there. This St. John's team looks like a national title contender. Some other ranked teams taking care of business. Clemson playing host to Notre Dame, winning 83-68. The Tigers over the Fighting Irish. Speaking of the Tigers, Memphis was close against Rice. We know they struggled to take care of inferior opponents. They did so again here, ended up pulling away late, and I mean pulling away late, ended up winning the game by 12 points, finishing the game on a 14-2 run, a 10-0 run as well for the Memphis Tigers to win this one, 84-72. Out in the state of Arizona, the Wildcats of Arizona beating Utah 83-66, and BYU goes on the road to Arizona State, takes down the Sun Devils 91-81. The Sun Devils' at-large hopes are quickly fading, very, very quickly dwindling. They needed to get that home victory over BYU to give themselves a real shot. Unable to do so, Arizona State looks like they're going to need to go unbeaten for the rest of the way, as well as make some noise in a conference tournament. Speaking of the bubble, some more teams in action. Indiana beating Penn State at home. Great win there to avoid a bad loss that could have cost them a tournament resume there. The Hoosiers winning 83-78. Virginia goes on the road to Wake Forest, and oh man, Wake Forest, you can't lose this one. The Demon Deacons losing 83-75 to the Virginia Cavaliers. Their tournament hopes are in jeopardy. The Bulldogs, the Drake Bulldogs, on the road at Evansville. A very ugly contest in this one. Drake led by Daniel Abreu. They win this one 65-61. Drake 26-3 on the season. Not getting enough love for an at-large. But I think if they still lose the Missouri Valley tournament, somewhere along the way in the tournament, I've got Drake in the tournament. They have got to be a tournament team. This is a tournament-type team. If they would have lost last night, things could have been different because you can't really afford the drop in conference games if you're a team like Drake, playing in a conference like Drake is, the Missouri Valley. And they did not do so there. They win that one 65-61. Out west last night, Boise State against Utah State in a great Mountain West battle. This one did not live up to the hype. Boise State took care of business. Tyson DeGenart scoring 16 of his 21 in the second half. Boise State pulls away, wins the second half by 11, wins the game by 17, 82-65. Ohio State on the road at USC. Buckeyes needed this one, and they get it. Micah Parrish leading the way with 20 points. Bruce Thornton have 20 points as well, for the Buckeyes. Ohio State winning 87-82 over the USC Trojans. SMU on the road at Cal. SMU's got to win every game they possibly can. They've got no quad one wins, none of them. But yet the bubble this year is so weak that they are still fighting for a tournament bid. And if you're looking for a reason to not expand the tournament, this year's field is a great opportunity to look and see and go, wow, these bubble teams are bad. These are not very good basketball teams. These are not teams that are deserving. So I think you either have to, if you expand the field, you've got to make it where it's good for the mid-majors. It's good for those who deserve it. You cannot reward teams for losing to good teams and beating bad teams and saying that they are one of the good teams. That doesn't make any sense. It means they're better than the bad teams. Does not make the SMU Mustangs a good team. But they win this one. They keep their at-large hopes alive, 81-77. And finally out west, San Francisco surviving at Oregon State. The Dons had to get this one. Oregon State was a home favorite here. Did not matter to San Francisco. They're putting themselves with a real shot, speaking of mid-majors with an at-large bid chance, real shot to get one. They've got Gonzaga on Saturday. If they can beat Gonzaga on Saturday, they put themselves in great shape for an at-large bid. Great to see for the West Coast Conference. And over in the NBA last night, Jalen Brunson putting up 34 points to help lead the New York Knicks past the Philadelphia 76ers, 110-105. Tyrese Maxey puts up 30 points. Knicks were 8.5-point favorites. Philly keeps it closer than that. Paul George, 25. Tyrese Maxey, 30. Mikal Bridges putting in 28 for New York. The Knicks win 110-105. And our second game of our doubleheader, Amin Thompson putting in 25 points, 8 rebounds to lead the Rockets over the Spurs, 118-106. In our League Pass game of the night last night, Detroit taking care of Boston, really handling Boston there. Detroit looks great right now. They won 117-297. Malik Beasley pouring in 26 points. The Pistons, I wouldn't want to see them in the first round. I'll say it. If I'm an NBA team, this Pistons squad is not what I want to see in the first round. And I think J.B. Bickerstaff deserves all the credit for Coach of the Year. He deserves that award. Nobody. I'm not buying in on J.J. Redick in L.A. because he has LeBron. He's got Luka. He had AD. I'm not giving him that award when J.B. Bickerstaff has this Pistons team, who is one of the worst squads in the league. They're 7 games above 500 right now. That is incredible. And there wasn't really a ton of roster shift either. This Pistons squad, it looks a lot better thanks to, of course, J.B. Bickerstaff, but also Cade Cunningham playing like an all-star. Pistons win over the Celtics 117-297. And as we dive into some NBA action tonight, one game on TNT, one game on NBA TV. Starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT, the Nuggets on the road at Milwaukee. Denver favored by 2.5 points over the Milwaukee Bucks. Tip-off for that one, once again, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern on TNT. And on NBA TV, the Lakers playing host to the Timberwolves. LA favored by 6.5 over Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves. Tip-off, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV. And tonight in college basketball, got a pretty light slate for you. Not a ton of great action for us. Rutgers, very talented Rutgers team, taking on the road to Ann Arbor to take on the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan, ranked number 15 in the AP poll. They sit as a 9.5-point favorite over the Scarlet Knights. Tip-off, 9 p.m. Eastern on Peacock. And then late night tonight, you want to see St. Mary's play basketball. They're playing great basketball right now. You should check them out. Ranked number 23 in the AP poll, sitting at 25-4 on the season. They go on the road to Loyola Marymount University. 13.5-point road favorites, 11 p.m. Eastern tip on CBS Sports Network. And that wraps up today's episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. I'm your host, Dave Smith. Thanks for joining us today. We are 2 days away from the start of March. We are 17 days away from receiving a bracket on Selection Sunday. We've already got our first conference tournament bracket coming from the Atlantic Sun. If you want to see that bracket as well as check out a ton of other great action, be sure to follow me on X at Dave Smith NBA. Thanks for tuning in on Hoops Talk with Dave today. I'll be back to you tomorrow for a full weekend preview.